6:31, we continue following breaking news on 10 News this morning, where Roanoke police are actively investigating a situation near Patrick Henry High School this morning.
We're already seeing it's impacting local businesses. Scratch Biscuit Company will be closed temporarily this morning due to the incident.
10 News reporter Megan Woods is live on the scene. Megan, what can you tell us?
Well, like you said earlier, this is still very, very active. We are at Virginia Heights School, where law enforcement sent us after asking us to leave the neighborhood. And when we drove up to Patrick Henry School, they had the parking lot blocked off. And then when we drove a little further, we saw businesses there and what looked like a tactical team. So, we're still looking for answers. And what we do know is that Roanoke City Schools are closed, and we do have a call from the school. Take a listen.
Police are asking everyone who lives within a half-a-mile radius of the 2100 block of Grandin Road Southwest to shelter in place until further notice.
Good morning. I'm 10 News reporter Colter Anstadt live in Roanoke, continuing to follow breaking news. A massive search is underway for U.S. Marine Michael Alexander Brown, who is wanted for murder in Franklin County. I'm going to go ahead and step out of the way now so my photographer can zoom in on this RV you see behind me here on the hill at St. Elizabeth's Episcopal Church. This RV is what police believe was the last known vehicle the suspect, again, Michael Alexander Brown, was using. It was found around 4 o'clock this morning. We don't know why it's in the condition that it's in. As you can see, one side appears to have been completely sheared off. All Roanoke City schools are closed today. People who live in the general area are asked to shelter in place. A neighbor, or resident rather, who lives in the Tillett Road area here in Roanoke called police to report a suspicious person this morning, and that is how the manhunt began. Here's what Roanoke's police chief had to say about that.
Went out as a suspicious person from a neighbor in the Tillett Road area. Individual seen tapping on a window, dressed in a black jacket. Officers responded, was able to confirm to the best of our belief that it was Mr. Brown, and then of course we located the RV in close proximity.
Roanoke police say Brown tapped on a window of a home this morning.
Lindsay, you talked to several neighbors there. I can imagine they are pretty scared.
That's right. It is very unnerving. Now, some neighbors tell me they feel comfortable knowing police have been patrolling the area, but nevertheless, it is still very scary knowing that Brown could be out there. We were actually just told by officers to move further down the street. They've been stationed up there near the intersection of Tillett and Weaver Roads all day long, stopping cars and asking if anyone has seen Brown. And you can see that the police car is blocking the street right now, and there's a helicopter circling overhead. Neighbors say they were told to shelter in place during the manhunt and asked to report anything suspicious. One neighbor tells me that police searched her friend's yard because the fence was open, and he has 2 dogs, so he always makes sure to keep it shut. I'm told that this is a pretty active area with lots of people out and about and walking their dogs, but today it's eerily quiet knowing a murder suspect is on the loose.
Especially knowing, after learning his background, military, Marine, armed, dangerous, wanted for murder. So, yeah, definitely scary.
10 News reporter Shane Dwyer joins us now live with the very latest on what he's saying. Shane, good afternoon.
Patrick, good afternoon to you. We are live in the office right now of Deborah Caldwell-Bono. She has been hired to represent this man. Deborah, you've asked us to come here to your office today. What is it that you want to share with us?
Well, I just wanted to get the word out to Michael that he does have a lot of support out there. Family and friends love him. Particularly, he knows who's always been there for him. His friends have hired me to be there and represent him, be there with him when he turns himself in. We don't want to have anything happen to him. He can contact them. They will give him my cell phone number. He can call my office. My office will give him my cell phone number. Just asking for him to please know anybody that's in contact with him that he does have support, he does have help, and if he'll please turn himself in, and I will be there for him to help him. We want to see this end peacefully.
And they reached out to you this morning to seek your services?
I've been talking to him for a couple of days, and then this morning we submitted everything.
And have you chatted with the police at all or anything to try to get this message out to him?
Yes, indeed. Anybody that might be able to get the message to Michael to please turn himself in, and I'm there for him, and so are his friends, and he knows who they are.
And these are folks that really want to see you be able to help him at this point and get him to turn himself in safely so that no one else is injured or killed in this.
Absolutely.
And at this point, are you able to say, do you know with what information you have, that he is still alive or that police have taken him into custody?
Last word I heard within the last 10 minutes is that everybody believes he's still alive.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
Just, Michael, please turn yourself in. We're here for you.
Now at 5, a local murder case turned nationwide manhunt moves into the Star City.
Michael Brown is wanted. We believe him to be armed and dangerous.
Local, state, and federal agencies have been searching by ground and by air, but the suspect is still on the run.
Tonight, an entire community is on edge, with schools and businesses shut down and neighbors told to stay inside.
I've never seen anything else like this happen.
You never know if he's cornered or what he could do.
We'll tell you what may have brought him to the area as family members make a plea for a peaceful ending.
We've got crews across the Star City bringing you live team coverage with what you need to know to stay safe.
And we begin tonight with 10 News anchors John Carlin and Lindsay Ward, who are live in the Grandin area with more on this manhunt that is still underway. Lindsay and John.
We are live tonight. We're in the parking lot of St. Elizabeth's Episcopal Church. That's where the man's RV was found very early this morning. Just to set the stage for you just briefly, that RV is roughly behind us. You see some state police vehicles. Off to my left is a tow truck that they've told us they'll use to tow that RV away sometime later on tonight.
And this has been an active search throughout the day, and it all began on Saturday in Franklin County, where deputies say Michael Brown killed his mother's boyfriend, Rodney Brown, at his home in Hardy. And yesterday we learned the 22-year-old's car was located in Clarendon County, South Carolina.
And then this morning he was spotted on Tillett Road in Roanoke, where police say he was tapping on his grandmother's window. And then moments later, police found that RV that we just told you about.
Investigators say they don't know where he is, adding this is he's likely on the move and is not afraid to change his appearance. Now, 10 News reporter Arisha Jones kicks off our team coverage tonight. She's joining us now live from the Grandin Road Village area with more on what police are saying about this suspect. Arisha?
There's been 2 news conferences today involving multiple agencies, and what we did learn today that Brown's grandmother lives on Tillett Road, which has been much of the focus for the search today. Now, a vehicle he was believed to be driving was found inside a trailer in Clarendon County, South Carolina last night. Then this morning, there were reports that he was spotted on Tillett Road. The search for Brown prompted authorities to place the area within a half-mile radius of Patrick Henry High School under a shelter-in-place. City schools were also canceled as a precaution. Throughout today, there were reports of sightings, but nothing confirmed. Authorities believe Brown is looking for alternative forms of transportation and may be armed with high-powered weapons.
And we have an individual who is wanted both locally and federally for crimes against another person. We have reason to believe that he may continue to be armed and dangerous. And if he is confronted or pushed into a position to where he feels like he has no other alternative, then he may use force.
Most of the search for Brown right now is still around the Grandin Road area and Patrick Henry High School, but law enforcement is stationed throughout the area. Now, the FBI, the ATF, U.S. Marshals Service, and the Franklin County Sheriff's Office is also involved with the search and the investigation. Of course, we will continue to update you on this story. Live in Roanoke, Arisha Jones, 10 News, working for you.
All right, thank you, Arisha. And of course, this manhunt started before sunrise this morning in a southwest Roanoke neighborhood. That's when authorities say Brown was tapping on his grandmother's window.
And that's where we find Lindsay Kennett live this evening. She's joining us now live from that neighborhood, and she's been talking with neighbors all evening. So, Lindsay, what did they have to say about all of this chaos?
They say they're still shaken up and feeling uneasy knowing that Brown is still on the loose. Police were stationed all over this neighborhood, especially here along Tillett Road. They were stopping cars, checking neighbors' homes and backyards. Just before noon, police blocked off Tillett Road and told neighbors to go in their homes and take shelter in their basements. Our crews were there as a helicopter started circling overhead and armored vehicles drove down Tillett, which is where neighbors say one of Brown's relatives lives. Other neighbors say they saw SWAT officers knock on someone's home. A woman answered. The officers reportedly searched inside, and when they got back out, that's when all the police left the area. With the sun setting and no new leads on where Brown might be, this manhunt is leaving folks here terrified.
It was a kind of a shock. Yeah, definitely a shock.
That it was right next to Spring Street, and I went, oh my gosh, that's right next to my house. So yeah, I've been a little freaked out this morning because that was super close.
Neighbors say all they can do now is wait, be on the lookout, and lock their doors. Live in Roanoke, I'm Lindsay Kennett, 10 News, working for you.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. Meanwhile, 10 News was the first on this scene as law enforcement began investigating the RV they believe belonged to Michael Brown. 10
News reporter Coulter Anstad has been there since early this morning, bringing you updates from the site of that RV with it in the background. And Coulter, I understand that state police are now telling you they think that RV may have been there for 24 hours before they found it.
Well, John, a church member I spoke to today said another church member noticed the RV around 10 o'clock yesterday morning. And when the church member I spoke to today came to the church today to do some maintenance, the RV was still here, but it was not intact. Take a look. This is what the RV looked like when we pulled up this morning. The entire passenger side of the RV appears to have been sheared off. How that happened is still unclear. As we've reported, this is the vehicle authorities believe Brown used to pull a trailer down to South Carolina. That trailer was found on the side of a road last night, and inside was the vehicle Brown is believed to have been using.
I was quite surprised. I was glad that I didn't go over there and bang on the door and try and open the door last night. So he might have been inside, but I don't think he was because we had so many people here last evening.
Coming up tonight on 10 News at 5:30, I'll have reaction from a man who lives near the church. For now, though, live in Roanoke, Coulter Anstad, 10 News, working for you.
Very good. Thank you, Coulter. And tonight we're hearing from a prominent Roanoke attorney who has a plea for Brown to turn himself in.
Now, Brown's friends and family are worried about him being on the run and everyone's safety. That's why they hired Deborah Caldwell-Bono to be his lawyer. Caldwell-Bono says she's been in touch with those friends for a few days now. She officially joined the case this morning after the manhunt moved back to Roanoke. Now, we brought it first to you live right here on 10 News this afternoon that she's asking him to surrender.
He has a very strong support system in the area. People who love him, who've known him for years and always been there for him, and they are still with him, and they want him to know that. And if he will please turn himself in, contact me. I'll be there with him. He knows who these people are who've always been there for him.
Caldwell-Bono says she's never been contacted like this for a case, but she is happy to help out in any way she can. And again, her plea is for Brown to turn himself in, and she will see that things end safely for him.
And of course, this is a story we are going to continue to update you throughout the night. But first, we want to send things back into Brittany McGraw in the studio. Brittany?
For the first time today, Brown's mother and grandmother made a public plea for him to turn himself in.
They say he's probably scared as he remains on the run, and they're scared for him, too.
Please trust us when we tell you to trust the authorities and turn yourself in. I don't want you hurt, please.
That's Michael Brown's mother and grandmother pleading for his safe return.
Michael, you're my baby. I love you. Please, I can't lose you. I'm scared for you.
Federal court records indicate Brown's mother saw him kill her boyfriend in Franklin County nearly a week ago. Since then, Brown has remained on the run.
We will get you a lawyer. We will help you. I won't leave you. Just please turn yourself in. I can't lose another person.
They worry as the search continues, Brown could get hurt or worse.
Michael, I know that you're alone and afraid right now, but there are people who want to help you. We still care about you. Please turn yourself in. Nobody wants to see you die also.
We come to you with breaking news this morning as the U.S. Marshal Service says it has arrested or captured Michael Brown, who's been on the run now for about 2.5 weeks after being accused of murder in Franklin County.
We want to show you some video and pictures that we've shown you over the last 2.5 weeks. And that's all we know right now, that Michael Brown is in custody. We will be streaming that news conference live right here on WSLS on TV. We'll have it online on WSLS.com, on your app, and on Facebook.
Michael Brown, the Marine wanted for murder, captured.
This situation has come to a successful closure.
This manhunt has put communities in lockdown, shut down streets, parts of the railroad, and left an entire region on edge.
You're still looking out the window a little more, looking out the front door a little more.
Tonight, we have live team coverage of Michael Brown's arrest, what's next for him, and reaction from the community. And Michael Brown is in custody after nearly 3 weeks of being on the run. In the video you'll see only on 10 News tonight, our crews were there just 30 minutes ago as Michael Brown was escorted by Franklin County Sheriff's deputies to the magistrate's office.
He was arrested this morning at the same place where he's accused of murdering his mother's boyfriend in Franklin County. We begin tonight with 10 News reporter Irisha Jones, who is live at the sheriff's office.
And Irisha, you were able to ask Michael Brown one quick question as he went by. What'd you ask him?
Well, John and Brittany, I did ask him, did he kill Rodney Brown? Now, we were the only station here, and our cameras were rolling as Michael Brown was transported from the sheriff's office across the street to the magistrate's office and the jail. We asked him a series of questions as he got out the car. Take a listen.
Michael, do you have anything you want to say?
Did you turn yourself in? Did you kill him?
Michael, do you have anything you want to say?
Earlier today, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office did not want to say which jail Michael Brown will be placed in after his arrest, but his attorney told us earlier today he will be going to the Western Virginia Regional Jail. Michael Brown had been on the run for nearly 3 weeks after the Franklin County Sheriff's Office says he killed his mother's boyfriend, Rodney Brown. At today's news conference, law enforcement also did not want to answer any questions related to the homicide, only his arrest. But even then, many of those questions were not answered. All we know right now, as we reported, he was arrested at his mother's home where the alleged murder took place in Hardy around 8 this morning. They would not say whether he turned himself in or why he returned to the house.
No understanding at this time, other than the fact I'm very familiar with that, but that's still being, we're looking for answers as to that reason.
Michael Brown will face the murder and firearm charges here in Franklin County. The federal charge against him will be dropped according to the U.S. Marshal's Office. Now, we're working to find out when his first court appearance will be, and of course, 10 News will be there. Live in Franklin County, Irisha Jones, 10 News, working for you.
And we were able to get a first look now at Rodney Brown, the man that Michael is accused of murdering, and Michael's mother's boyfriend. We also got a first look at the house that he was killed in when we talked to Rodney's family, who has a message for Michael.
10 News reporter Coulter Anstad is live near the home where the murder and this morning's arrest took place in Hardy.
Coulter, what does Rodney Brown's cousin want Michael to know?
John, in short, she wants him to know he is loved. The house where Michael was arrested at is about a quarter mile down the gravel driveway behind me here on Wood Thrush Circle. Rodney Brown's cousin shared this picture of Michael as a little boy. She lives near the house but had no idea the arrest was happening this morning because she was still in bed when it happened. The cousin asked me not show her face or say her name. She hates that all of this happened and doesn't understand why it did, and she's not even sure Michael did what he's accused of doing. Regardless, she says losing her cousin has been tough, but she is not angry with Michael.
Michael, I love you. I don't know what happened, but it had to be something pretty bad. Because you are a good person. You really are. You always have been. And I was proud of you being in the Marines. And don't forget, I love you.
I did knock on the door of the house where Michael was arrested. No one answered. I also tried to speak to other residents who live in this area and the employee at the gas station where Michael was first spotted after Rodney Brown was killed. None of them wanted to go on camera. Live in Franklin County, Coulter Anstad, 10 News, working for you.
Tonight, we're learning more about Brown's past from the attorney representing him.
We were there as Deborah Caldwell Bono came out of the sheriff's office talking to her client for the first time. 10 News reporter Shane Dwyer joins us live now at the sheriff's office. Shane, she says that there is something in Brown's past that may have played a role in this?
Yeah, John and Brittany, you know, it has been nonstop social media rumors about what the history is between Michael Brown and Rodney Brown. So we went right to the lawyer and asked. And tonight, Caldwell Bono telling me, quote, when it all comes out in court,
we will find the allegations to be true. That was all that she was willing to say to me and would not elaborate any further. At this point, again, 4 hours in the sheriff's office today working with investigators and speaking to her client, Michael Brown. Now, this is video we shot earlier today. Brown's mother and grandmother were also here at the sheriff's office. His mom did get a chance to speak to Michael. That's according to what she told me. She says she is thankful that no one else was hurt in this. Now, Caldwell Bono was brought onto this case by Brown's friends, and while she wouldn't say whether or not he turned himself in, you remember she made a plea right here live on 10 News back when this all started, begging Michael to turn himself in. She did not say, however, if he was willing to admit to doing that. We asked Michael, however, when he was walking back into the magistrate's office, if he turned himself in. He shouted back yes. Bono says Michael knew that he had the support.
I think it helped for him to decide what to do and how to handle it, knowing he had people out here that were going to be helping him and a lot of support from the community.
Now, again, Michael Brown taken into the magistrate's office. We're told it could be at least a half hour to an hour more before he comes back out and he is officially booked on those charges. At this point now, we're waiting to see if he will go into the jail here in Rocky Mount or if he will go to the Western Virginia Regional Jail directly and skip this jail right here. Now, back out live with us in Rocky Mount, Caldwell Bono told me that courts are closed until Monday, and she says that he will likely waive his arraignment hearing because all of those details have already been hashed out. She said that most likely he will not be in court next week, and at this point we'll just have to wait and see until the courts schedule his next hearing. Live in Rocky Mount, Shane Dwyer, 10 News, working for you.
Good evening. A bombshell tonight in the case of the AWOL Marine accused of murder in Franklin County.
10 News has confirmed that Michael Brown was hiding in this completely dismantled RV the entire time authorities were searching for him on November 14th in Roanoke.
In fact, we have confirmed that he was still hiding in the vehicle when they towed it away. Michael Brown's attorney, Deborah Caldwell Bono, confirmed that Brown was in that RV the entire time that police were searching for him, the day after he was said to have been tapping on his grandmother's window. Now, I spoke with Caldwell Bono today on the phone, and I asked her to confirm a tip, actually a couple of tips that we had received, and she said, quote, "I think you will find that to be true," when I asked her if he was in fact hiding in the RV. All of this, again, happening back on November 14th. Now, I wanted to show you something. This is the cell phone video that I shot the night that they towed the RV from St. Elizabeth's Episcopal Church, the parking lot there in the Grandin area. In fact, we had just finished broadcasting from the church along with all the other media, including the national media that night. That's how big this story is. And Brown was in that RV the whole time, even when they towed it right past me. But not only that, let's take a closer look here. As you can see in our video from the day of the actual search, police had completely dismantled this RV. They were pulling pieces from the RV. They were putting them in a dumpster. They told us at the time that they were looking for evidence. There we see a state police and a drug interdiction unit official. So they were in here and they were putting all of the stuff from the RV, and they had cut the side off of it with some kind of a tool into a dumpster the entire time that we were broadcasting. So the question then becomes, how could he have been hiding in that vehicle while all of that was going on? Well, if you look, there is almost nothing left of the vehicle, so where was he? All we know from his attorney is that he, quote, was hiding behind a cabinet somewhere near the top. And that is her summation on that, okay? And according to her and to other sources, he stayed in the RV until it arrived at the tow truck's headquarters just off of 13th Street in Roanoke, where he is said to have jumped out and then run off. And this is a video that we have that you were just looking at the tow truck site. Now, we've reached out to a number of law enforcement agencies involved in this investigation. We've only gotten response from a couple, but in fairness to them, we've only known about this for a couple of hours this afternoon. The U.S. Marshal says that marshals are aware of the rumor that Michael Brown was hiding in the RV and escaped when it was towed to the impound lot. They cannot confirm, and they are investigating all aspects of the case. The FBI tells us, quote, it has no comment. We've also reached out to Roanoke City Franklin County, and Virginia State Police. Tonight, we can tell you more about the Marine charged with murder in Franklin County and whether he was in that RV, even as police searched and dismantled the vehicle. In fact, we have heard from Brown himself from inside the Western Virginia Regional Jail.
It's been just short of a month since police searched Brown's RV in a church parking lot in the Grandin area of Roanoke.
And yesterday, in a 10 News exclusive, we broke the news that Brown was hiding in that vehicle the whole time. Michael Brown's RV, parked next to St. Elizabeth's Episcopal Church, is perhaps the most iconic symbol of the search for the missing Marine. Police cut the entire side off and then tore it apart, putting the pieces in a nearby dumpster. And yet, Brown, as confirmed to 10 News by numerous sources, including his attorney, was hidden inside the entire time. And tonight, we have confirmation from Brown himself. He contacted 10 News from the regional jail with the following statement, quote, "As for the RV, I feel reluctant to talk about it as I'm a big supporter of police and I don't want to say anything that might be seen as embarrassing to any police department. I think they did as good a job as anyone could have done, and I don't fault them for not having found me." We still don't know where Brown could have been hiding in the vehicle, though sources say it was behind a cabinet and near the top. Sources also confirm Brown was still in the RV when it was towed from the church parking lot, where numerous media outlets, including 10 News, presented live broadcasts on November 14th, the night of a massive manhunt for Brown. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office, which is the lead agency in the Brown case, responded with a written statement today reading, "We have been aware of that rumor since Brown was arrested. We have been investigating that information and cannot confirm that Brown was in the RV at the time. This is an ongoing criminal investigation, and we will continue to investigate any new information that becomes available." Brown's attorney tells 10 News that she will be meeting with him soon, and after that meeting, we may have additional information to pass along to you. Well, good evening. Tonight, we're learning more about the 911 call that started the manhunt in Roanoke for Michael Brown last month, the night that he was said to be tapping on his grandmother's window.
According to the recording, police knew immediately that they were looking for the AWOL Marine. 10 News reporter Shane Dwyer is here now. And Shane, you listened to almost 4 hours of it. So what are some of the things it reveals?
Yeah, Brittany and John, about 3 hours and 52 minutes is what we got from the police. And what it tells us is that Brown's family is the one who called police that morning, setting off the manhunt in the Grandin neighborhood. We also hear a lot of the inner monologue between Brown's mom and grandmother, who were staying at the grandmother's house together at the time. It really paints a picture of a family in turmoil.
Did you call the police? No. Hello, yes. This is Frank. Yes. 911. Get in here.
Okay, what address are you at?
I think Michael Brown is here.
When the call came in, Roanoke police knew immediately they were looking for accused murderer Michael Brown that November day. His mom, Vanessa Hansen, and grandmother Diane Hansen spooked after hearing banging on the side of Grandma's home on Tillett Road in the middle of the night.
I went outside and I was going to talk to him, see if he would turn himself in. It was the only thing I can do to save him, but he wasn't out. He didn't answer me.
Brown's mom didn't find him when she went outside, but he had been on the run at that point, and they felt it was him. Brown's grandmother was terrified, calling the police. Much of the 911 tape just records mom and grandmother talking.
You couldn't have to call the cops. You should have let me talk to him. I have to call him if I think it's him. I got to talk to him. He will listen to me.
Dozens of officers swarmed the area, finding the now iconic RV just a short distance away from the house shortly after they arrived. Brown's mom talks to an FBI agent a few times on another phone. Mom and grandmother then argue about what to do.
We're talking about keeping ourselves safe.
Grandmother is terrified, insisting they leave. Brown's mother struggles with giving up on her son, insisting he won't hurt them.
You're not making a talk to him. You don't know what his mind is like. I do. No, you don't. Look what he's done. You don't know. This is not your baby. Stop saying that. He's killed. He'll always be my baby. He's making bad choices. Oh my God.
Most of what follows is silence or calls to friends as police search the area. Officers eventually came to the house as the search went on, and police eventually found Brown 2 weeks later at the scene of the crime in Franklin County.